like to invite Anne Bowden from the Takamatua Residents Ratepayers Association. Welcome. I'm not sure if you've appeared in front of the council since the new council was elected.
No, I don't believe we ever have.
Well, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Secretary of the Takamatua Ratepayers Association. Our association covers both residents and ratepayers who live either permanently or have holiday homes in the Takamatua area. I'm here today for a submission for the Takamatua Domain Reserve. The Takamatua Domain Reserve was first gazetted in 1866 as a reserve and redesignated as a recreational reserve in 1979. At the present time, this reserve is fenced and gated. It has no public access. It has no facilities on it, and I don't believe that the council actually even maintain it in any way by even putting a lawnmower or a mower across the area. The reserve actually has historical significance. For in 1845, 3 blockhouses were built on this reserve. 2 were barged through to Akaroa and the other remained on the reserve. That was in 1845, but the blockhouses were never ever used for the purpose that they were built. In mid-2012, our association commissioned a landscape plan for the reserve, and we consulted with our local community and we adopted their plan. We took the plan through to the Akaroa Wairira Community Board. They were supportive of it and they sent it through to council. That is actually where it stopped. We have regular meetings, 3 meetings a year, and before each of these meetings I contact Pam Richardson to put it back on the agenda, and she contacts the council, but we haven't gone forward since then. The connection with the French is that the French Navy actually built the 3 blockhouses, and we contacted the French Embassy because we thought an interpretation panel on the site would look very good to inform the public alike to the historical significance. The French ambassador was very supportive of this, and he suggested that we apply through the New Zealand-France Friendship Fund for funding. But because the reserve is absolutely gated and can't access it, we can't really go forward. When we did our brief to the landscape designer, we gave him 3 things that we were concerned about. We were concerned about where the blockhouse is sited, so we asked for that not to be no plantings or anything like that on it, to be left unencumbered. We asked that there was no tall trees to be put around it, that it was because of the nature of the land, it was one part is quite undulating and it's wet, that the plantings be smaller and suitable for wetlands and for the habitat of the wildlife. And also that, with that, is that the views from the neighbours' houses were unencumbered. This site is actually on the council website as one of a sought-after reserve on Banks Peninsula with facilities for the public to enjoy and use. We're actually quite active in our community, and we would like to participate in any way that we can to be able to keep costs down in any particular way we could. You know, we're quite happy to volunteer with the plantings. And, oh gosh, I'm losing myself. But thank you very much for your time.
No, you've just ended on a spot where I've been asking questions. Is the community willing to come on board?
We are willing to come on board.
In that way?
Yeah, we are.
Do you know what the cost is?
No, because to do a budget on it, it would have been 2012, and now we're 18 months to 2 years down, that would have been just blown out of the water, that budget. We're not asking for a lot of tall trees, we're not asking for any sort of facilities, we're not asking for toilet facilities, we're not asking for playground equipment or anything like that. We just want it planted, be able to put a boardwalk through for the public to be able to walk through because of the ground is very, very wet.
But you could literally build that as a community and plant as well.
Well, yeah, we could do the planting, but I can't commit to any funding from the association because, of course, that has to go through committee and the membership.
No. I mean, if we could fund the actual plants and the wood for the boardwalk, you could literally.
Well, we do have members in our community who are professionals. We've got professional structural engineers, we've got builders, we've got electricians and things like that. But we'd really just like to be able to open up this reserve.
Right, okay, thank you. Pauline and then Andrew.
Thank you. Can I just ask why it's fenced? I haven't done a site visit or anything, but...
I have no idea. I used to live in Akaroa 20 odd years ago, and I used to take my son round to the stream at Takamatua, and I can always remember it's being fenced and gated. It's
Before the earthquakes?
before the earthquakes. It's always been like that.
It's silly.
I don't think a lot of people actually realise it's actually a domain. I think a lot of people thought it was a piece of land that was land banked by some private owner.
So if the fences were down, would it be accessible? You
could walk through it, but it really does need planting and it really does need a boardwalk because it is quite swampy because it's right by the sea.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Andrew.
Thank you. And yeah, thanks for the presentation this afternoon. I'm loving what I'm hearing in many ways, in as much as we've got a situation where, you know, you're saying to us if council were able to fund this, the community could do a lot of the work, which is excellent. I mean, it certainly sounds as though you've got the skills there in the community to make this happen. In your view, would a way, so two questions, I guess. In your view, would a way forward be for your residents and ratepayers group to put a budget together and come to council with a specific plan, if you like, for the project? And second question, to what extent would you see the community contributing to ongoing maintenance using a similar model, I'm guessing, to the reserves management committees and so on that we have on the peninsula?
The reserve, Takamatua is probably, it's never ever came under the reserve management because it's never ever been, I don't think it's ever had a reserve management board on it, and this is probably why the reserve is the way it is. I do know that there are council workers that do come around and do, because across the road from me there is a small reserve, and I do know that council go across and maintain that, and I'm pretty sure that they also mow the foreshore in front of the reserve too. We can do a budget and we can bring it back through to council to be able to give costings and that, but we just want to see this piece of land opened up, and then we can also apply to the New Zealand France Friendship Fund to get some funding through for an interpretation panel.
If I can just make a further comment, I'm wondering whether a way forward with this might be, and we've just done this at Cass Bay, just outside of Littleton, to establish a reserves management committee, maybe as a side group to your existing group, and to look at funding that to whatever extent needed to establish this as a reserve and move on from there under the reserves management committee model. Would that seem an acceptable way forward?
I would have to take it back to the committee to find out. I can't speak for it, but it is an option.
That might be a good conversation between the association and the community board, and I'm certainly happy to raise this with Pam Richardson.
Yeah, but Pam knows all about this because I keep pressing to her every time I see her, whether she's actually heard anything from council.
David.
My questions have been answered, thank you.
Oh, Vicky.
I don't know. With council's blessing, we'll take it down.
Is there a stock or?
Sometimes people did actually put stock on there just to keep the grass down.
Right.
There's no stock in there at the present time. There is. I don't know if there's a waterway. It's very swampy in a particular area.
Let us get some information. But I think that you're hearing around the table that this is a council that very much wants to support communities to be able to get on and do stuff.
Yeah.
And so if it's just a question of finding the right information to support decision making, we can just get on with it. So, but anyway, we'll look for some solutions and try and help you through this.
And get back to us.
We
That'd be
will.
Wonderful.
Thank you very
very
much. Very, very good submission.
Thank you.
Now, our next submitter